Are we gonna review my Ronier?
Nah, we
No.
got something else. I'm gonna crack this and pour it around. Chad, if you wanna,
You got
Yeah.
some deets on it?
this is a bitchin' logo.
Yeah. So this is a deep cut.
Welcome to another episode of the American Beer Review Podcast.
Good times with good friends requires good beer. Lucky for us, we know how to pick all three.
We're a group of friends who grew up in the Pacific Northwest, giving us a jump start on our craft beer journey.
Join us today while Brian
Alec,
And Chad.
review some beer, talk about beer topics, and whatever else comes up. We invite you to pour yourself a drink and hang out with us.
From Kings County Brewing, is it Brewing Cooperative?
Brewing Collective.
Brewing Collective out in Brooklyn, New York. This is, once I scroll down to it, because I had it, then I scrolled back because I'm an
Middle
idiot.
Earth.
Middling Earth.
This is
Middling.
Middling Earth. It's an ESB, extra special bitter.
There you go.
Lord of the Rings themed, obviously. We've got Frodo and Samwise analogs on the label, as well as a Schmiegel.
And looks like a
Slash-
Gandalf-y guy out
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah, this is a 4.8 extra special bitter. This was off one of my Toward drops. Collection of weird beers. I think we're gonna do a separate episode on the remaining really weird beers I got.
Dude, you have some really weird
This
beers.
is like the most normal beer
Mhm.
outside of there's a Hoppy Pills we'll do later. Foreshadowing. So yeah,
They
I'm not-
spent some money on this logo.
I know that they're
There's some artwork in that thing.
Well, I mean, it's
Oh, it's shiny,
shiny
and like reflective.
and, like, the
yeah.
eyes and swords and stuff.
That
yeah.
is a high quality can wrap right there. Sticker eye.
Sticker.
Yes. So
Do
it's
is there a indicator there to rip it off to see if we win a free beer?
I do not think there's an indicator on there. It was canned on
1.5
January 5th, so at the
Yeah.
time of this recording, it's just less
Couple
than,
weeks
less
old?
Than, yeah, a couple
About
8
weeks
weeks old?
3 weeks.
Yeah, about 18 days.
Nice golden amber color.
yeah.
Like yeah, so you are not deceived if you pour this knowing it's an ESB, because growing up here we had Red Hook,
Yeah,
and that was like
the go-to.
the go-to ESB before I found like actual European style
I-
ESBs and whatnot.
I feel like Alec, ESB was one of your like early grab-ons for like
Oh.
kind of craft beers.
Craft with
I
air
think,
quotes,
I,
yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I think that's because we were stealing them from somebody.
No, but even, yeah.
No,
in
because
college.
it was post 21 for
Yeah,
sure. Because
yeah,
that's
yeah.
when I was around drinking. But you tried to like push me into those types, and I was like, man, I don't know about this business.
gonna
But it
stick-
was probably Red Hooks.
I'm going to stick with my natural light.
Yeah, I didn't stick very long with that one.
You did not.
Oh, that is
Mm.
fantastic. So
That's a good, just like
this is
so
a
the
good, this is a
descrip-
good sipping beer.
yeah, so
Yeah.
the description says extra special bitter at 4.8% ABV, very crushable, very sessionable beer. We are looking for aromas of orange marmalade for the pronunciation adjacent. Tea and toast up front with a blend of high oil, Cascade, and East Kent Golding hops with some biscuity English malt in the background.
all right.
This is just a very overall less hops, more dependent on malt.
Yes.
Beer as an ESB, which is, I'm going to be honest, a lot of what my early craft days were.
More the malty side.
Yes, because
Mhm.
I came in from Henry Weinhard's side. So I had Henry Weinhard's Private Reserve. I think they had an ESB. They had a pale ale, and then that transitioned into the Red Hook ESB before I jumped off into other things. But really, nothing else was available.
That was your beer journey.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother episode.
Like, if
each
I-
of our beer journeys, like
Oh,
I-
there've been whole episodes that you've missed out on.
apologies.
It's something to look forward to in future episodes. for the dear listener?
Can I do a little tangent?
Please.
Shoot.
So you said that this was East Kent Golding's hops, right?
Yes.
So that's a very traditional, like, British style of
Very.
hop, and so the bitter style of beer is pretty traditional. This one talks about it being like English muffin with the malt and stuff. We actually live near a town called Kent,
Yes.
and there is the whole
Yes.
valley there that's called the Kent Valley.
Yes.
Do you know how it got that name?
I have a suspicion about
Yes,
where the tangent
yes,
is going,
yes,
but
you
I'm
should.
going to say no for now, but please enlighten.
It used to be one of the highest producers of hops in that area and making like these types of hops before they started to make the ones that we know as traditional, like Washington hops. They were trying to replicate the hops that came from other places. And so, the Kent Valley was actually known as one of the great hop growing areas during that time, and that's where like that name kind of comes from.
Huh.
Is the tradition, the link to the hop growing culture that was here, and now we only think of it as being on the east side of the mountains, but that's also a very different type of climate. That
Right.
like this climate, not quite, but more similar to
A lot more comparable to UK.
a UK kind of climate compared to getting the different like brighter styles of hops that we're getting on the east side of the mountains now with Yakima. So yeah, so that's a fun little thing. Bitters are a bitter style, especially an ESB style beer. To me, the name was always what pushed me off from choosing that type of beer as one I'd want to drink. Like I remember trying, like you said, or like I said, you were into it earlier, and those types, I just wasn't that into beer at the time. So then also getting this ESB beer didn't fit for what I wanted at the time.
Right.
But to me, just this beer with a name called bitter, they're not bitter in the way that we think of it now.
No, because you compare this to like an IPA, and this is sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I had a bitter recently. Basically, I think of it like a table beer, honestly, from Structures. It was like 3.8%.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually much more golden than this one, like a little clearer and cleaner. But these are like kind of like amber style, that it's like got a little bit of like amber color. It's that malt forward flavor to it.
And I'd like to inject like what we get on the west, like what we get in our area as an amber is this, but with hops.
Yeah.
Like I think that was the thing about Red Hook back in the day when we were drinking beer. Red Hook was such a shock that
They were northwesting.
northwesting, but then you could have flavor in a beer other than hops. Like so, an ESB is very malt forward. It's like what you said. Like it's not a bitter beer face experience. It should be a sweet, kind of nutty.
That's why the name's a little bit of a misnomer.
And that was what was so scary. Like we saw Red Hook ESB advertised, and you're like, bitter. Like no, the Bud Light advertisement I saw the other day said bitter beer face. No, I don't want that.
Yeah, except for it probably took 5 years before I realized what Red Hook ESB stood for.
Exactly.
So,
I think the first time I had Red Hook ESB was we somehow ended up north side of Seattle after a Huskies football game
okay.
in college, and we ended up almost playing beer pong at a round table in Wallingford, and we drank a pitcher of flat ESB because that was all they had left in the building. Because it was
man, Brian missed that one. That was just you and me.
Yes,
I was like, I don't think I was there for that
We got
one.
there so late, but it was this flat Red
Yeah.
Hook ESB,
Yeah.
and you were just like, "Is this beer?" And then you got done drinking, you're like, "Yeah, this is beer. This is what beer is."
No, I don't. There was not a good representation. I do remember
Yes.
exactly then.
Yeah.
We did not have to walk home that time.
Yes.
The 4-hour circuitous route that should have taken you like 35 minutes.
35 minutes. No,
I know, but the route
Similar
okay.
similar
But,
circumstances led us to
so
go to a
if
place
if
to
you
buy
would
this beer.
so if you and me on a long journey could have hearkened up and asked some giant eagles to take us where we wanted to go, like maybe a guy named Bilbo asked the big eagles to take him to Mount Doom instead of
Frodo.
having to walk there.
Frodo, you got the wrong movie.
Oh well, maybe.
Sorry. Actually,
Sorry. I haven't read it in a while. I haven't watched it in a while.
Actually, Bilbo was in the Hobbits, and Frodo was in Lord of the Rings, and Gandalf is the one that sent the
Thank goodness
giant
this is
eagles there.
yeah. Thank goodness this is a beer review podcast, not a literature review podcast.
I'm glad we brought the nerds in to help
Yeah,
correct us.
come at,
Yeah,
come
this
at,
is-
come at. Hey, guess what, Loader fans? I'm on board with you that the Amazon reboot was dog shit.
Ah, I didn't hate it.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? I mean,
Okay, so I watched the first two episodes. I,
watch
got
it.
nothing out of
I
it.
had no
It was
idea what
like
they're talking
drinking
about.
water. It was just like I saw it. I was like, okay, great.
it was
You,
all.
you spent 2 hours and then hey, that's the guy who Hugo Weaving played in the first movie. Woo, fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
It did nothing to his character.
not to diverge, but yeah, no, I thought it was fine. It was very
It was safe.
predictive.
It was
and
way too safe.
and yeah, but I didn't hate it.
You spend that much money on a TV show, go big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways,
Uh,
this Lord of the Rings themed beer, however,
Pretty good.
if these guys weren't in New York, or if I lived in New York and I was within walking or tram distance or train distance, yeah, this is in my this is an everyday carry for me.
what was the cost on? I mean, if you don't mind, what was the cost on this can? Because it is a fancy
So
beer, overly fancy.
I would
beer
say
label.
though, looking at their beers online, all of their labels are pretty fancy.
Okay, but does that mean this is a $5 beer, or is this a $1.99, or is
I
this
mean-
a $2.99 can?
They're making some gnarly artwork for
Which is awesome.
almost all their beers. So I respect that. I really enjoy that.
I mean, I would take this as a poster.
Oh, yeah, I'm not that far, but like I get it. It's I mean, it's super well done.
Yeah.
Like it's
So on-
super cool.
So on Tavor, it was $6.50
For this can or for a 4-pack?
for a pint.
Well, and
$6.50 for a pint. But
that's the part that I didn't quite say. It's why I've never jumped full into Tavor. You can get some really cool stuff. You get stuff, and it opens you up to a wider variety than is available in your area.
Yes.
That to me
and
is the primo like thing, but you're paying for it.
Yeah.
And so you just gotta really like be willing to just pay to try different things. Because honestly, like I really like this beer.
Yes.
I think it's
Yeah,
really good.
I mean,
Yes.
so realistically, I could go down and buy a 16 of this is probably you're
Three
seeing
and a
it
half.
anywhere from $3.50 to $5 locally.
Yeah.
All right.
I paid an extra buck and it got delivered here to my door.
Okay. Yeah. So I put it.
But if I could pick it up every day for like $3 a can, every day.
This feels regular wheelhouse enough that I would drink it every day. I think the fact that it's hard to locate, it's on the other side of the country.
Yeah, it's tough.
And then the price point for 4.5 or 4.8, it's beer fridgeable. I just don't know that I can get my hands on it routinely enough to make it an everyday beer. I think it ends up being
I think if I have a local version of this, like I think like Thor
Awesome.
was saying,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's one that to me, that this style of beer where you're getting that good craft flavoring,
Yep.
but you're at that sub 5%, is that beer that we had talked about in recent episodes of like, that's what I'm looking for that transition beer. That one where like, hey, I've already done my double IPA. I've already
Right.
had a couple IPAs.
But you don't
I
feel
want-
like going straight into a light beer.
Yeah, I'm not getting to my Rainier yet. But-
that's my starter beer, guys.
Yeah, but so like I think that's a great kind of transition one. But again, I think this is going back to I can't remember how many episodes ago it was, like that cost of things. Like it's really tough, I think, for some people to justify making these beers that just aren't the, oh my god, this beer, we gotta go find it. When it's just a really solid beer that probably costs them a lot to make.
Yeah.
And it's worthwhile if you can get your hands on it. But I'm not going out of my way to pay $15 for a 4-pack or to do those things for it. So,
well, I think that's the hard part that we've talked about with lagers is when you're sticking to that like central wheelhouse. They're not doing anything crazy with this beer.
no, but
This is just beer.
It's just a good beer.
Yes.
But there's not a whole lot other than the artwork on the can and everything else in it that separates it from that Red Hook that I can get at Safeway.
Yeah. So it's tough. I think it's tough for the brewer.
Yeah.
Tough for the consumer, but like when it works out, it's good. I mean, I'm happy to have had it and tried it.
Absolutely.
I will tell you from looking on Untapped, they have 564 other beers that you can also try.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. I think they're kind of like previous review, Hubbard's Cave, the same kind of deal. They do a lot of every year we're gonna
Weird stuff and
let's
one-offs.
come out with something new, and I think that is a benefit. That is a benefit for a lot of brewers if you're able to do that and be flexible. Going, hey, you know what? This beer was good, but we can make it better, or we can make it different. I feel like you have to continually, you need to have a core set. You need to have a core set of beers. Okay, we're going to do this beer. You're in, you're out. It's solid. It's booked. I hope this ESB is a year-round for them, because that is a very solid representation of ESB. That is a very good route for a beer business. But go out, have fun. You have that revenue from your core business.
And then get weird.
Go get weird.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you go out and get weird, and you find something that inspires you, or you find something that works.
And then it becomes part of your core set. Yeah.
You can't experiment with new beers unless you have a solid base for your business. Right. At the end of the day, you have to make money. And if you're not making money, you shouldn't be going and doing new fancy things. You should be focusing on your core business.
Right. Captain, where are you putting this in your fridges? You putting this in your main fridge? You putting this in your beer fridge? Or you waiting until I bring it over?
I'm waiting for somebody to bring this over.
See, that's actually still high praise from him.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Well, I didn't say I was drinking it when they brought it over. I said I was waiting for somebody else to bring it over.
You did drink all of
but
what
you
you
would
had.
But you would accept it if somebody brought it over and donated it to your fridge.
Yeah, and it would live there until
somebody else
came over to drink it.
Hey, but it's there.
It would be a main beer fridge beer. Then yes, it would until somebody else drank. Yes.
Yeah. That's because you don't have any food in your fridge.
There's literally only beer in my fridge.
So it's just an inside beer fridge versus an outside beer fridge.
Yeah, but
It's like you don't live there when it's cold outside.
I don't live there when it's cold outside, and I don't cook. So there might be 2 packets of hot sauce, and that's about it.
Oh, look at it. Somebody's single.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a beer review. Right?
We all drank it.
Yeah, no, our glasses,
we
it's
did all
gone.
drink. Yeah, it is.
The can is empty.
The can is empty. The glasses are empty. Hopefully yours are too. And we'll see you next time for another review.
Fuck it.
Anything from Tulsa?
No. So, everyone get your microphones in front of your face. Don't put the headphones on. I was just gonna go pee. Since we have the captain here, we have an ability to record a ratification to the beer rules. I put this in the Discord. I don't know if everybody read it.
I did not.
But you didn't read it because you're not Discord.
Are you out already? Or are you gonna go
Let's
get
go
us
get
some?
a beer and then we'll sit down and talk about this.
I whistled. I'm getting beers. I whistled.
Oh, okay.
That's the original whistle. I whistled. I'm gonna go grab some beers.
If you've enjoyed what you just heard, make sure you subscribe to get the new episodes when they drop, and don't forget to leave us a review. If you want to know what we're drinking when we're not on the pod, you can follow us on social media at ABR Review, and we'd love to hear from you with any beer suggestions for us to review. Cheers.